Fist of the North Star, or Hokuto is an action-packed, adrenaline-fueled, testosterone-pumped manly tale of a man and his quest to save a devastated post-apocalyptic wasteland. Armed with the 1800-year-old martial art known as Hokuto, our main protagonist Kenshiro leaps onto the scene ready to dole a flurry of punches and kicks that can destroy the body from the inside out via hidden pressure points. That's a rough synopsis of what Fist of the North Star is about. A bunch of ripply, oiled-up men beating the hell out of each other to save or take over what's left of the nuclear world. That being said, there are many games based on the Hokuto license. A person walking around making people explode from the inside out against seemingly unbeatable odds would obviously make for an interesting and fun video game. What better place to start than the NES? Hokuto. This one didn't make it out of Japan, and thank heavens it didn't. It's one of the most infuriating and heart attack inducing side-scrollers I've ever played. It looks good enough on a summary glance. You got the wasteland in the back there, busted and broken down buildings, and just right away you have enemies giving you a tough time. Ken himself looks good enough. No wrist straps or shoulder pads, but that's cool. Ken has two different attacks, to start with at least. One's a punch which has a short range and the other is a kick that has slightly longer reach. Hitting enemies with the punch causes their heads to burst open in usual Hokuto fashion. The kick causes enemies to fly off the screen hilariously. Okay, not bad. Things could be worse. Wait, whoa, what was that? That looked like some sort of pixelated person. It had goggles. Was that bad? What the heck was he doing down there? Oh well, pressing on. Ah, jeez, they do not let up with the things being thrown at you. The further in the level you go, the more bullshit gets thrown your way. Knives, axes, and even people. People! And we're back at the beginning of the level. Perfect. Here's Skinny. All the levels in the game are these huge freaking mazes. The doors in the background aren't just for show. You can enter them by pressing up and B together, mind you. Going through the right door, and there's only one right door per screen, takes you to the next section of the level. Going through the wrong door sets you back to the previous screen. So how does one pick out the right doors from the wrong one other than the process of elimination? Remember when I told you about what I thought was Bat? Turns out it is. Every now and again, Bat or Lynn shows up in the doorways you pass to let you know that that is the proper door to enter. Sometimes. By that I mean Lynn and Bat are stupid kids who couldn't find their way out of a paper bag and occasionally lead you down the wrong frickin' door. As far as I put it together, it's random and memorizing where the correct door is in the level is more dependable than these shit asses. The enemies are your average wasteland thugs. Some of them throw knives or axes while others hop around like annoying little shits while trying to hit you. These guys can fuck right off. Not only do they distract you from the fuckers throwing garbage your way, but they take multiple hits to kill, and the ass clowns always seem to put themselves in a position where they can hit you, but you can't hit them. As far as I know, the only enemy to really look out for are the pink guys. They're just like the regular enemies barring one thing. When you explode them, they leave behind some sort of power-up. Jump up and get it and it'll add a star to the top right corner of the screen. Be careful not to kick them, as doing so sends them off to oblivion and power up along with it. As you collect stars from these guys, you notice that Ken is able to do more moves. He gets faster, can jump higher, as well as attack quicker. Not only that, but he can punch and kick while jumping. Ken can also punch back anything thrown his way, which kills an enemy instantly. I suggest farming for these guys on the first screen of the game. I.e., don't go through any of the doors and let the level loop around until you have 7 stars. You'll need each and every single one of them if you want to get far in this game. Lastly, and this is probably the most important thing that getting the stars gets you, Lynn shows up in the correct pathways letting you know exactly which doors to go through. So as I said, get the stars. When you finally make your way through the barrage of flying shit, relentless thugs, and manage to navigate through the correct doors, you get to fight the end level boss. The first level boss is Mr. Hart. There is no real strategy I found fighting him. Just hunker down in the corner and kick the hell out of his belly. Once his stomach starts rippling, finish him off with a punch of the gut. Cool. Just like the manga. That's some nice attention to detail. Second level is where everything devolves into a giant mess. Enemies are way stronger now and take more than one hit to put down. They all throw stuff at you and bounce around while keeping their distance, making it difficult to punch their ugly faces in. Shin is the boss this time. He jumps around like a ballerina and shoots Nanto at you. Kick his girlfriend stealing Goblin while dodging the waves he throws, and it's off to the next level. Right about here is when I notice that Ken moves faster than I can react to things attacking me. Enemies can be dealt with easily as they always come from either left, right, or top of the screen. I can see them coming, but randomly throughout the levels some unseen forces throwing knives, arrows, and axes at you, and I usually walk right into them. I had to resort to tapping forward on the D-pad to slowly inch my way forward. It works for sure, but it's tedious. I died on this level. A lot. More than I care to admit. And you only get 3 lives. Once they're all gone, poof! Back to the start of the game with you. After many attempts, I finally made it to Jaggy, Ken's deceitful and underhanded little brother. He slides around and throws knives all over the dang place. The safest strategy I could find is jumping up and hitting him before landing, then quickly jumping up again. Even at that, I barely scrape by with this amount of health. Did I mention that you keep the same health between levels? Ho, fun! Given the pyramids in the background, I'm going to guess that Souther is my ultimate foe here. The level is mercifully short and absent of a maze to navigate. It's a straight shot to the end and, oh, I was right, it's Souther. I died here so many times. I couldn't find any reasonable way to beat Souther other than getting lucky on one of my last lives. It appears I must hit the old drawing board on this one. Be right back. I have emerged from my den of meditation and training and found a new technique that will blaze my trail to victory. Okay, I've gone through this game, top to bottom, and I believe I found the key to making it to the end. Firstly, you have basically one shot to beat this game. I know this game gives you 3 lives, but you really only have one actual attempt, and that's getting to the end with the 7-star power-up. It's only feasible to get the stars out of the pink enemies on level 1 reliably without taking too much damage, as level 1 enemies die in 1 hit. Lose a life and try to do this on any other stage and you will not make it, I assure you. Past level 1 enemies take more than 1 hit to take out, and later levels they take a whopping 3 hits to kill. Due to horrible hit detection, standing and fighting against these odds will always leave you walking away from the tussle with a hit or 2. And you need that health to make it through the boss battles. Now, boss battles! I never noticed while playing, but I had always gotten a small health increase after the fight with Heart, but never again for any of the other boss fights. The only thing I could think of was that I had killed Heart with the special move that he fell to in the manga. Looking back on the footage when I wasn't focused on the game like a laser showed that I had actually killed Mr. Heart much quicker than I should have, as he had a nice chunk of health left when I punched his belly. I began thinking that, much like with Ken and his pressure points, the bosses had certain weaknesses that could take them out quicker if I used precise and well executed attacks. Guess what? That's totally the case. Only with the rest of the bosses, it isn't nearly as apparent what the game wanted me to do to get to the quick finishes. I caved in after a while and looked online. Shin needs to be attacked by air or on the ground with 10 punches. He dies with almost half of his health full. Jaggy needs to be kicked while jumping in the air 3 times, then punched in the face while on the ground. This kills him with a good 3/4 of his health still full. Souther has to be punched 3 times while he's in the air, followed by a single kick while he's grounded. Like Jaggy, it kills them from almost full health. Beating them quickly with these tricks makes their fights quick and minimizes the damage done to you. Any hits you happen to take will easily be filled up after the fight if you beat them using these methods. The regular level baddies are another story. All the ones on level 2 and above take multiple hits to kill. Standing and fighting while grounded is not advised, as throwing punches or kicks leaves you open to attacks from projectiles and other baddies from behind. Not to mention that multiple goons will always get a hit off of you no matter how quick your reflexes are or how fast you attack. Firstly, take it slow. And I mean tap the directional button ever so slightly to inch yourself forward and meticulously take out every bozo that appears on the screen. Wait for an enemy to show up and see what it's going to do. More than likely, they'll start chucking things your way which you can kick or punch back to kill them instantly. In the later levels, I was begging enemies to throw something so I can take them out quickly and move on. Not to mention that every 10 kills refills a wee bit of your health, so that helps too. On my many replays of the game, I had stumbled upon the best and most reliable method of taking out the fodder that filled the screen. I found that, with full stars, jumping and kicking in place will destroy any of the foes in the game no matter how many hits it would take to kill them otherwise. They don't have a chance to stand there and pick health off of you. It's more dependable than the regular standing kick or punch, and I've seen it also make it harder for the fuckers to hit an airborne Kenshiro. With this new knowledge and my ultimate technique learned, we can reach and be prepared for, with a full life bar and a powered up Ken, to tackle and hopefully beat the final level. Of course they wouldn't let up here. This whole stage can eat a great, big, throbbing lemon. Enemies sometimes attack in groups of 3. They'll rush you down with 2 of them, leaving the other to throw stuff from far away. Even my jumping kick didn't protect me from taking a hit or 2 every now and again. This level has several spots where you have to dodge flying knives and enemies. Jump around while spamming kick and hope for the best. The worst thing about this level is after passing the first 3 doors, the Lin shows you the right way to go perk stops working. If you go to the first door she appears in after this point, she will lead you on an infinite loop of sorrow from which you will never escape. Maybe she's leading you down the wrong way on purpose because she doesn't want Ken to fight Rao. You deceptive little girl, the faster I get to the end, the quicker we'll be done with this. Once you realize following her isn't going to get you anywhere, and after finding your own way to the end, you come face to face with Rao. Finally! I'm not losing here. Come on, brother. Let's end this. I did it! Woo! Yeah! Rao dies in his cool standing pose, and Ken is reunited with Yuria. And history repeats itself. Nope, not with this game it won't. The last title for today is Fist of the North Star. We actually got this one over here, and it's a massively improved version of the game, thank goodness. Let me start by saying the box art is the wrongest thing I've ever seen ever. It depicts Kenshiro and Toki quote-unquote fighting. Truth be told, it looks more like they're going to start dancing. This game is based on the latter half of the manga. Toki is nowhere to be seen in the game or in that part of the manga, partly due to the fact that he's been dead for many, many years. It's false advertising for those not in the know. Thought I'd point it out. Like, they didn't even find the manga, what the f— Everything looks much better in this one. Kenshiro and the enemies are far more detailed, and the background changes from level to level instead of being the same rooms with a different coat of paint. Gone are the horrendous mazes, as each level is a linear shot to the end. They do have one level, it being level 2, which has something similar to a maze, but it's far more forgiving than the first game. Enemies aren't as resilient and don't spam throwing things as often. The star upgrade system is here, same deal, increased damage, quicker attacks. And there's a meter below the star one that reads bomb, but I never found out what it does. Bosses are much, much fairer here. They're pushovers, save for the Gento Koken guys who throw powerful projectiles that send you flying all over the place. Stick close and give a single punch as they back up, then immediately move forward into them. The hitbox for their attack is just in front of the end of whatever appendage they're attacking with. You'll still get hit from time to time, so be cautious. And praise Zeus, you get a health bonus after beating a mini-boss, of which some levels have multiple, and a full life restore after passing a level. The bosses have weaknesses here, but they're not as significant as they were in the first game. I've looked it up, and your first attack, that is, the first thing that damages the boss, has to be their weak point. Any other hit will null and void your chances of hitting the weak spot. I wasn't able to hit one of the weak spots these guys have, and it's improbably hard to tag. It only takes about a fourth of their health off, and I found my method of sticking close while hitting and moving was a much easier way to go about things. The only major bullshit here is that in level 6 there are a few parts where the floor will break away if you stand on it for too long, which will kill you instantly. Like I said for the first game, farm for the stars in the early levels and hold on to them for dear life. This time around, you'll need the speed that full star bar will get you, as you can easily run through the later levels and book it straight to the boss with little consequence. The only problems I ran into were Falco, and the second to last boss, the nameless Shura, who was the final boss. Falco sucks. He darts around with a flying kick and shoots Gento Koken energy that knocks you back to the side of the screen, and oh boy does he like to spam the hell out of it. He moves real good for someone with a wooden leg. Put him in the ground and it's off to the land of Shura for the, at least for this game, final battle. He fights like Falco minus the fireballs and instead chooses to burn the fuck out of his sliding attack. Each hit he lands takes away a big hunk of your life, and even with full stars he kicked the living daylights out of me. I tried so many times to beat him, but this carpetbagger has the aid of what I believe to be a glitch, and if he attacks you in the corner and his sliding leg kick automatically pushes you to the edge of the screen, he kills you instantly. This cretin killed me with a single strike while I still had 3/4 of my health. Thankfully, I was able to retry over and over again due to having unlimited continues. Just be careful not to spam the start button after a string of infuriating failures, as the cursor on the continue screen has new game highlighted by default. One anger-fueled playthrough later, I make it back to where I was to give it another go. That's a win? It counts! Yeah! Moving on. The rest of the game is a boss rush of all things. I'd like to show you what happens at the end of it, but this happened. Looks like Gold Experience Requiem hit Kenshiro when he wasn't looking. I beat the Nameless Shura. That's it. I'm done. I win. Let's pack it in. Real quick, I'd like to take a look at the Japanese version of the game to see if there are any differences other than language. Title screen looks cooler. And that's the major difference. The fucking flying clubs and knives from the first game are back and makes things several times harder. After beating a boss, someone comes from stage left, walks to the center of the screen, and awkwardly stands there until the next level starts. The first level was Lin and Bat, but I don't remember who these other idiots are. The cool hidden pressure point gimmick to weaken the bosses seems to be a mandatory prerequisite here. Some of them don't take damage at all unless you attack a certain, very specific part of their body. The first level mid-boss needs to be struck in the head to do damage. The second level mid-boss needs, I don't fucking know! This guy beat me like a rented mule, and I have no clue how I beat him. Look! Look at this! How the hell do I even... Oh joy! We have no continues either. I beat the US version. That's more than enough validation for me, thank you. The games all started out fun. The head explosion and Ken's digitized voice screaming "Ata" every time you throw a punch was cool. Using precise pressure points to quickly kill enemies was also a very interesting idea, when you know how to do them at least. They're both NES games, so I'm not going to berate the titles for not having any story or the absence of any supplementary characters. Let's just hope Kenshiro's exploits on the Master System and Genesis fare better than they did here.